Ninja Sentai Kakuranger, often simply referred to as Kakuranger, aired in Japan in 1994 and 1995 as the 18th entry in Toei's Super Sentai series, 16th by the reckoning of the time, since Go Ranger and Jakyu, the first two seasons, were not being officially counted as part of the series yet. You can see my first attempt at drawing the team on screen now. Kakuranger was adapted in 1995 and early 1996 by Saban as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, and, to an extent, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. For each episode of Kakuranger, I will be watching the episode and including the highlights of my reactions and experiences watching it, followed by a brief summary of the episode and some of my thoughts on it. In addition to those seasons, along with Fiveman and Abaranger, being available for purchase from Shout Factory on DVD, the Super Sentai seasons from Jetman through the Hurricaneger are available for English-subbed legal streaming for free with ads on both Tubi and Shout Factory TV. I have links for watching Kakuranger on both sites below. In my experience, Tubi seems to be easier than Shout Factory for streaming on a smart TV, while Shout Factory seems to work better on a cell phone. Both seem to work equally well on a desktop or laptop. For these videos, I am watching through Tubi. In the next section, I will explain the exposure and potential spoilers that I have already had for Kakuranger. If you'd like to avoid spoilers, then you should skip that section. Of the Super Sentai seasons available for legal streaming in America, excluding Hurricaneger, which happens to be the next ninja-themed season, at this moment I have had some of the least exposure to and spoilers for Kakuranger. At this point, I've watched most of Power Rangers and have begun watching a few different Sentai seasons. Right now, the only available Sentai seasons for which I have neither watched at least a couple of episodes of the Sentai, nor seen the Power Rangers adaptation in full, are Kakuranger and Hurricaneger. I will likely watch Hurricaneger at a later time, but for now I'm focused on Kakuranger. Although I have not seen Kakuranger itself yet, and I have not seen all of its Power Rangers adaptation, I do have some spoilers from Power Rangers and from the wiki. I saw all of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, but this actually exposed me to much less of Kakuranger than would normally be the case when watching a Sentai season's Power Rangers counterpart. While some Power Rangers seasons draw their plots heavily from the Sentai, and most take most of their fight scenes and props almost entirely from the Sentai, I believe that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3's use of elements from Kakuranger mainly consisted of mech/Zord battle footage, costumes for Zords, for monsters of the week and for a couple of other villains, and a low dose of the ninja theming. For the plots, the Ranger suits, and the non-giant size battles, Saban generally used a combination of original elements and elements carried over from adapting Ranger and Ranger. This, combined with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3's short length of 33 episodes compared to around 40 or 50 for Kakuranger, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3's relatively frequent non-Monster of the Week-centric episodes, means that watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3 only gave me a small peek into Kakuranger, a peek that I have forgotten somewhat over the years since I watched it. I think maybe Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, the 10-episode mini-season that follows Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, draws more heavily upon Kakuranger, since it uses Kakuranger's Ranger suits. However, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers did not show me much of Kakuranger either, since I only watched the first 2 episodes of it. Beyond what I know from watching Power Rangers, there are a few more details that I have gleaned about Kakuranger from occasionally browsing the wiki. I know that the villains are yokai, released around the start of the season from the person behind something called the Seal Door. I know that the White Ranger is the team's leader and is the only female team member. I know that the Black Ranger is a cowboy-themed American who initially struggles with speaking Japanese. I believe that there's a scene later in this season where he sits up in a hospital bed and says, "Today is Friday in California." I know that initially only the White Ranger is on the team, and that some or all of the Rangers don't join until later episodes. I know that the team's first set of mechs are the humanoid ones adapted as the Battleborgs and the Shogun Zords in Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, and the later part of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, while the animal-themed mechs adapted as the Ninja Zords in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie and in the early parts of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3 come later. Based on this information regarding the mechs, I believe that many of the monsters of the week that appear earlier in Power Rangers appear later in Kakuranger, and that many of the monsters of the week that appear later in Power Rangers appear earlier in Kakuranger. While I believe that I have heard some of the Kakuranger opening theme on YouTube at some point, I have little recollection of it, and I don't think that I ever went all the way through with it. I look forward to the true beginning of this series, and I hope that if you are unimpressed with the quality of my drawing, then you can at least laugh at it. Goodbye.